Desperation returned, like a beast that couldn't be kept away for long. And just like before, the stranger came back. This time, his offer was even greater, for boys were valued more highly in the city. Amina wanted to scream, to tell the man to leave her in peace. But the hunger in Kofi's eyes, the way his small body trembled from malnutrition, tore at her heart. What kind of mother allows her child to starve? Once again, she made the impossible choice. And once again, the guilt and regret that followed nearly consumed her. The pattern continued. Amina would give birth, and the stranger would return, offering money in exchange for her children. Each time, the decision became harder, the weight of her choices more unbearable. The money never lasted long, and the children she sold were never seen again. But how could she refuse when poverty was a relentless master, pushing her to the brink of insanity? As the years went by, Amina's heart grew heavy with sorrow. Musa had stopped talking to her about the children. They had become ghosts, memories that haunted the edges of their lives. The other women in the village avoided her, whispering behind her back, their eyes filled with pity and disgust. But what did they know of the choices she had to make? What did they know of hunger and despair? One day, after selling her 5th child, Amina could bear it no longer. She sat alone in her hut, staring at the empty space where her children should have been. Her heart ached in ways she couldn't describe. The faces of the babies she had given away haunted her, their eyes accusing, asking her why she had chosen money over their lives. But she hadn't chosen money, had she? She had chosen survival, for herself, for Musa. She had chosen to keep living in a world where everything seemed to conspire against her. The following morning, something inside Amina broke. She left the village and began walking, determined to find the city where her children had been taken. She had no plan, no idea what she would do when she got there. But she needed to know. She needed to see what had become of the babies she had sold for the price of survival. Her journey was long and grueling. The sun beat down mercilessly, and her feet were blistered and bloody by the time she reached the city. It was a vast, sprawling place, filled with people, noise, and chaos. Amina felt like a stranger, lost and overwhelmed by the sheer magnitude of it all. But she couldn't turn back now. She had come too far. She searched for days, asking anyone who would listen if they had seen a man who bought children from the villages. Most people turned away, either unwilling to help or too caught up in their own lives to care. But finally, Amina found someone, a woman who had once worked for the stranger. She told Amina the truth she had feared all along. The children, her children, had been sold into slavery. The weight of the revelation crushed Amina's spirit. All these years, she had told herself that her children were being given a better life, that they were being cared for in ways she could never provide. But now, she knew the truth. They were nothing more than commodities, used and discarded by the wealthy. Amina's heart shattered. The guilt that had gnawed at her for years now consumed her entirely. She had sold her children, her flesh and blood, for money. And for what? A few months of food? A temporary escape from hunger? The poverty she had blamed for her choices now seemed like a cruel joke, a twisted justification for the unbearable. She returned to her village, but Amina was no longer the same woman. Her soul was broken, her eyes hollow with grief. She no longer cared about survival, about the struggle to live. What was the point when the cost had been so high? Musa tried to console her, but even he couldn't understand the depth of her pain. The village watched in silence as Amina withered away, a shell of the strong, determined woman she had once been. The children she had lost were gone forever, and no amount of money could bring them back. As she lay on her deathbed, Amina whispered to the wind, a prayer for forgiveness, though she wasn't sure who she was asking it from. The gods, her children, herself, but no answer came. In her final moments, Amina was left with only one thought. Poverty had stolen everything from her: her dignity, her hope, her children. And in the end, it had claimed her soul as well. But perhaps in death, she would find the peace that had eluded her in life.